The truth will be revealed. The new revelations that come into all of our lives, the new revelations that come into the public sphere even, they'll ultimately be for the greater good. This is not your average Mercury retrograde. Hi everyone, Heather here with astrologywithheather.com, and I am back with another special forecast, and this one is for the entire Mercury retrograde from September 26th all the way through to October 18th of 2021. And I just want to let you know right off the bat that this is not your average Mercury retrograde. While Mercury is retrograding in the sign of Libra, it's going to be activating the ongoing Pluto-Eris square, which we'll talk about in this video. It's going to go Kazimi, which means it'll be at the seat of the sun. Mercury will be in an exact conjunction with the sun. Also in a conjunction with Mars. It's quite intense, but luckily we'll also have a trine between retrograde Mercury and Jupiter, the great benefic planet. So what does this all mean? It means that the truth will be revealed, but those truths that are revealed are going to be quite uncomfortable. It's not going to necessarily look pretty. However, the new revelations that come into all of our lives, the new revelations that come into the public sphere even, they'll ultimately be for the greater good. Jupiter is ensuring a positive outcome and an elevated perspective as a result of maybe having to deal with some information that might not feel so good. Basically, what happens when we have Pluto and Eris in this tight square is that it reveals deep truths that have been hidden in plain sight all along. Things that have been there, but we haven't had the eyes to see them. And with Mercury in the mix, these things are going to be revealed a little bit more so through our communications, through the information that comes in, through the messages we receive, and sometimes through what we say to other people and our reactions to things. That can show us or reveal to us things about our true nature that we didn't even realize, things that we don't necessarily love about ourselves. It could be that we have a visceral or very intense reaction to somebody maybe criticizing us or giving us certain information that doesn't fit with our current paradigm or our current value system. And once we have that reaction, once we explode, maybe during that Mars transit, we realize, hey, like, I don't like this about myself. I didn't realize that I felt this way. I didn't realize that I was this kind of person. It doesn't feel nice, but clearly this has been the way that I am all along. It just didn't come up in this way, or I didn't have the ability to kind of pull myself out of it and view it from that outside vantage point, which is actually what Jupiter in the sign of Aquarius, which is a very voyeuristic sort of energy where you can objectively take a bird's eye view of what's going on and take a bird's eye view of your emotions, your reactions, your responses, your thought processes, your beliefs, your perspective even, and see how that's fitting into everything that's going on here and see whether or not this really needs to be adjusted. So this is a big moment in time, and this is going to be, this is going to be pretty massive. This is not going to be a normal Mercury retrograde in the sign of Libra. When we think about the sign of Libra, Libra is all about balance, harmony, equilibrium. Libra is all about keeping the peace, right? Tipping the scales, but only to kind of make things just and fair and equal, right? And so when we look at that type of energy mixed up with this really intense Mars energy that's going to be in the mix with this Mercury retrograde, mixed up with this Pluto-Eris square, this T-square that's going to be forming, and that's already forming right now as we speak, and that's going to be the big focal point of the actual stationary position of the Mercury retrograde. It's not going to be as balanced as you might think. You might feel like you want to fight for equality. You might feel like you want to fight for justice. You might feel like you want to fight for what's right and what's fair in your life, or maybe on behalf of others. But it's going to be very I would say that there's going to be an imbalance of energy, and a lot of what comes up might not be what it seems at first, especially during the Mercury retrograde period. There are things that will be revealed that will be truth, but our ability to perceive and understand them and comprehend them and to use those truths in a way that's productive and that's useful and beneficial to us moving forward, that might come later when we get into the post Mercury retrograde shadow, which for those who are unaware, that's the time when Mercury retraces its steps and goes back over the degrees that it will be moving through while it's in retrograde. And that's actually going to be, let's see here, we have from 16, no, that's not correct, from 10 to 25 degrees in the sign of Libra. So it's going to be going back and forth over those degrees. And so for those of you who have a lot of cardinal energy, which means planets, especially personal planets like the Sun, Moon, Mercury, Venus, Mars, in the signs of Aries, Libra, Cancer, or Capricorn, then you're going to be feeling this in a way that's going to be a little intense. On the other hand, if you have a lot of personal planets in the signs of Gemini or Aquarius, you might be feeling this a lot more positively at those degrees, right? That 10 to 25 degree. Although for those who have a lot of Aquarius energy, you have to also consider that Saturn's in the mix at those earlier degrees in Aquarius that I just mentioned. So there's a lot going on here. So I'm going to give you a play-by-play of the biggest energies that are going to be happening and the dates, because I want you to be able to come back and reference this as we go through this retrograde. It's a particularly dicey one, and then we'll get into the forecast for all 12 signs. But before we do that, I just want to mention, for those of you who are new to my channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you never miss an important astrology update. I do forecasts like this all the time, as well as tutorials on different topics in astrology. Even if you're not new to my channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. But the way that I structure these videos is that I always begin with a 5 to 10 minute general forecast. Make sure you don't skip this, because it's going to provide an important context for what we'll be discussing in the extended, more detailed forecast for all 12 signs. Speaking of which, when we do get into the forecast for all 12 signs, make sure you listen to your sun sign, your moon sign, and your rising sign to get a more holistic overview of the energy for the week ahead. Your rising sign will be the most predominant energy, your sun sign will be secondary, and your moon sign is important to listen to as well, although this energy will be a little bit more internalized and subjective. In this video, I won't be doing an overview of next week's forecast because this is a 3-week forecast, but usually I do that. But I am going to be giving you a couple of tips for dealing with the retrograde at the end of this video, so stick around until the end if you're interested in that. All right, let's get back to the general forecast, guys. So we already kind of talked about the overview of the energy, and the energy I described is going to be lasting for the next 3 weeks, but it'll come back around in November as well, especially at this beginning to middle of November, the 31st through the 10th. You're going to be feeling all of these energies coming back up because of that post-retrograde shadow period and the retracing of steps that we started to talk about. We're already in the pre-shadow period. The pre-shadow began, I believe, on September 6th. And so we're in it, right? We're in it already. And we've had several activations. Literally on August 18th, Mercury, while it was direct, came into a conjunction with Mars in Virgo. That would have brought about some intense energy around communications, conversations, maybe arguments, disputes, things of that nature, not as intense as what we're going to be experiencing right now. That one was in Virgo, so it wasn't even the pre-shadow. But what's interesting about this and why I'm including this information is because there's some sort of intensity or argument or information that came up at that time really abruptly that we're going to have to reconsider in several different ways because it's happening in 3 different signs. And when Mercury hits Mars over and over again 3 times, that's significant. It usually happens once and then it passes and it's done. This is going back and forth over it, but it's doing it in all these different signs, first in Virgo, then in Libra, and then in Scorpio. And that Scorpio conjunction will happen in November on the 10th of November. So there's something there if you're somebody who journals or pays attention to such things. Think back about the middle of August and something that came up rather abruptly, probably passed rather quickly, that might be coming back around in a different way. during this Mercury retrograde. But last week we had Mercury direct trine Jupiter, and so that was happening on the 20th. We had Mercury direct square Pluto, so that was happening on the 22nd. And this coming week on the 26th of September, Mercury stations to go retrograde in a T-square with Pluto and Eris. The exact square to Pluto happens on the 22nd of September and on the 1st of October, but that entire period, several days before and several days after, it's like a 3-week long Mercury T-square between Pluto and Eris. This is huge, you guys. And this is where a lot of the weirdness and a lot of the intensity comes up. So Eris is, for those of you who don't already know, Eris is a dwarf planet that lies beyond the orbit of Pluto. And so Eris, it's kind of has an irregular orbit. It crosses through the ecliptic instead of transits, through the ecliptic. And it's actually the discovery of Eris in 2005 is the reason why Pluto was actually demoted to a dwarf planet. I actually wrote up a whole article based on my research on Eris that is published in the Cosmic Community for those who are interested. I'm doing a 7-day free trial membership, so you guys can read that there and have access to all of the different exclusive content and in-depth stuff. But Eris, basically, just to give you like a bullet point, Eris represents a process of transformation through self-discovery, through things being revealed to us that are discordant and disruptive. But they're things that were already there. They're things that feel like a new revelation, but we know it's been there all along. It's just we didn't have, as I mentioned before, the eyes to see it just yet. And so when we have these intense moments with Eris, things are revealed that were in front of our face, and we're like, oh my God, I can't believe I didn't see that. And it's not comfortable. It shows us a lot of our shadow stuff. It's kind of like people reveal themselves, things unravel, and it's like you can't deny it anymore. This is what it is. And with Pluto in the mix, oh my goodness, you guys, Pluto is about getting to the truth. Pluto brings intense psychological and emotional situations that reveal things to us in and of itself without even Eris being involved. And so between this combination of energies, which has been going on for quite some time, we just had an exact pass a couple months ago of this, but it's ongoing. Between all of this energy and it being activated by Mercury on and off, this is like, I'm interested to see what happens out in the world, in the media and things like that. Mercury rules the media, communication, newspapers, publications, things like that, journalism, right? But I'm also interested to see what this reveals to each and every one of us on a personal level, because there's something here that we don't want to look at. That's the truth. It could be something about our relationships. It could be something about our jobs. It could be something about, our family situation, our living situation, our financial situation. It really depends, and we'll get into that when we talk about the forecast for all 12 signs. But something will be revealed, and it's going to take a moment to like settle in and be like, all right, I see it from this perspective now, and to actually work with that energy. That is what's going to happen, because Jupiter is there too. That trine to Jupiter is happening around the exact same time. Like I mentioned before, it came exact on September 20th. It comes exact on October 3rd. It's also part of the station of Mercury retrograde, so it's part of that sort of 3-week window before and after the station where all of this is super active. So that'll be there. That'll be happening. The final thing I want to talk to you guys about during the Mercury retrograde is that Mercury will be going Kazimi, which means it'll be sitting at the seat of the sun. It'll be elevated. And that's a time when Mercury's retrograde that I always recommend that people spend in some sort of reflection because there's usually really powerful insights that can come in. And it happens for me a lot of the time if I'm just kind of doing something mindless like folding laundry, or if I'm sitting actually in meditation or journaling, something will come up around the time of the exact Kazimi, which happens at 10:18 a.m. Mountain Daylight Time. You'll have to look up that conjunction between the sun and Mercury and when that's going to be happening in your time zone. But what's interesting about this particular Mercury Kazimi is that it's actually going to be in a conjunction with Mars and Libra, and it's still in orb of that T-square. it's going to be intense. Something's going to be revealed that's going to be shocking. This is a time where if you had arguments and disputes and discord that came up, that first pass when Mercury was conjunct Mars in Virgo, it's going to come back around in a completely different way. You're going to be able to think about it in a completely new perspective, in a completely new way. And you might get some sort of resolution out of it, but it's going to come to you like a jolt. This is also a time where you might instantaneously know that you have to take action on something, and that's going to be a big thing too. And that Mercury conjunction to Mars in Libra exact happens on the same day on October 9th. So that's all there. Mercury finally stations direct on October 18th. And so that's a really, powerful time of starting to get things rolling. The forward momentum usually takes a few days to really take hold because Mercury is a very fast moving planet normally, and it's moving super, super slow, like a little turtle in the sky. And so Mercury doesn't like to move slow. So it's not like go time right away, but it's where things can start to move forward, and then it'll become more rapid as we get into November. And so, that's basically what I wanted to address and talk to you guys about before we get into the forecast for all 12 signs. And before we do that, I actually just wanted to mention to you guys that I do have a free Astrology 101 PDF, quick reference guide for all of you. You can download it right now at the link in the description below. This PDF guide covers all of the basics so you can understand these forecasts better and so you can understand your own chart better. There's a key to the glyphs for those who are a little less familiar. There's information about the planets, signs, houses, aspects, rulership, detriment, exaltation, fall, all of it. So that is my gift to you. I love when you guys learn about astrology and figure out how to do things for yourself. That's one of the things that I really feel passionate about. And so again, link down in the description below. And let's get into the forecast for all 12 signs, beginning of course with Aries and Aries rising. All right, and so for Aries, this Mercury retrograde, again, this is a 3-week forecast, the 26th through the 18th of October. During this Mercury retrograde, this is a time where you're going to be thinking and rethinking about your relationships. This is also a time where old relationships and old issues in relationship can come back around because something about that connection needs to be revealed to you, right? There's going to be a truth that might be uncomfortable that will be revealed to you about your relationships or about you and the way that you engage in relationships. And even though it might not feel so good, it's going to improve not just your one-on-one relationships, but it's definitely going to change your perspective on your friendships and your group associations and the people that you surround yourself with. And so that's a big energy for this Mercury retrograde. Mercury is also in that T-square with Eris and Pluto in your first and in your 10th house. I would say that this is going to be a time where something might be revealed to you involving a work-related partnership, commitment, contract agreement, or something along those lines as well that might not feel good. It might not be pretty, but it's a truth that needs to be revealed so you can shift your perspective. And so you can look at things differently moving forward in a way that's going to be very advantageous to you. The Mercury Kazimi, which happens on October 9th with Mars, that's going to be, again, happening in that 7th house for you. There could be an old argument, dispute, disagreement, specifically with like a coworker or somebody who you work with or something along those lines for those who are working. It could come back around in a more personal way and you might have to deal with it. It could literally just be that you're like tense during that time and you're, a little bit more on edge and you're more combative and there is a little fight or something that comes up with your partner or with a close friend. But this fight, this argument, this dispute, whatever discord comes up around that time, it's meant to reveal something to you about that relationship and about the way that you engage in these types of arguments or disputes. This could also be something that's revealed to you that needs to be rehashed from the past that you need to take action on in relationships specifically. And so it's a big energy in that way. It's a beneficial energy for your relationships in the long term, but again, there is some tension. Okay, and then for Taurus and for Taurus rising. So for Taurus, this energy is happening in your 6th house, which is the house of work, health, and daily routines. Mercury is going to be revealing some stuff to you. So I would say for those of you who are working, this could be something that's revealed to you involving a coworker, involving your employment in general. This could be something kind of sticky involving interoffice politics that is not necessarily in alignment with your belief systems, with your integrity, with your inner truth, right? There's something that's being revealed to you. It could also be that there's somebody you trusted who's kind of behind the scenes, maybe gossiping about you or something along those lines. And if that's the case, it's something that you need to know about. And ultimately, your career will be enhanced. Your opportunity and potential for success will be enhanced due to these revelations, now and into the future. So it's a positive thing overall, but it's not necessarily going to feel good in the moment with whatever it is that is being revealed. This could also be that there's something that needs to be revealed to you involving a health issue for yourself or for somebody else close to you. It could also be something revealed to you when it comes to your daily nutrition, your health habits, your daily routines, or your pets. That's a sixth house thing, especially if you have like farm animals and things like that. There's something that you didn't know about that is going to be communicated to you, or that you'll become aware of, that was hidden in plain sight all along. And it's like, how did I not see this, right? How did I not know this was happening? Again, it'll enhance your success. It'll enhance, your relationship with your pets or their health or whatever it is that comes up as a result of this. The Mercury Kazimi that happens on October 9th is going to bring a little bit extra intensity. So that could be where something is revealed to you that you realize you need to take action on, involving your health, your relationships with coworkers, your work in general, like a work-related project, or your daily routines. It's like, how did I not see this? Right? How did I not know that this was a thing? I need to take action and change it now. Again, ultimately, whatever it is that you do is going to be for the greatest good. It'll change your perspective on your work. It'll change your perspective on your body, your health, your approach to nutrition, but it's not going to be comfortable in the moment. For Gemini and for Gemini rising. So for Gemini, this Mercury retrograde is actually a little bit nicer for you, as I mentioned at the start of this video. So lucky Gemini, it doesn't mean it's not with it doesn't come with its own stickiness. It doesn't mean that things won't be revealed to you, but the things that are revealed to you are going to be less jarring and better received for the most part. There could be some things revealed to you involving power struggles, involving your finances, especially joint finances, or maybe a bad investment or some sort of debt or loan that you've taken out that could be a little sticky. But for the most part, again, this is just a nicer energy. It's in your fifth house, which is the house of joy. It's the house of play. It's the house of romance, fun, entertainment, performance, even. And so if those are things that are applicable to your life, this is a time where you're going to be just kind of reevaluating your relationship with your joy. That's applicable to everyone's life, but reevaluating maybe a performance, reevaluating some sort of entertainment venue that you frequent or something like that. Reevaluate what does bring you joy. And this is actually a time where something could be deeply revealed to you in terms of what it is that you truly and deeply desire, what it is that lights you up, what it is that you're passionate about. This could also be something revealed to you involving your children, or some sort of power struggle or challenge with your children that could come up for you, especially around that Mercury Kazimi on or around October 9th. It could be a message that comes in from your children or around your children or related to your children, where it's like, how did I not see this? And immediately you have to take some quick action on it. Or how did I not see it coming even? Ultimately, though, whatever it is that comes up for you during this Mercury retrograde period, it's going to be for the greater good, as it will be for everyone. It's going to very deeply alter your perspective on life, because this is in trine with Jupiter in your ninth house. And so the way that you view the world, the way that you view everything through the lens of your philosophies, through the lens of your religious beliefs, through the lens of your spiritual value systems, through the lens of what you believe is moral and ethical, that's going to shift and that's going to change. But that's going to bring a positive change where, that really alters things for you. And in general, especially if you're a Gemini, sun, moon, or rising between 10 and 25 degrees, this is going to reconnect you with something from the past that you were deeply passionate about that brings you so much joy. And that's going to be a gift. So Geminis, it's going to be a little bit of a nicer experience for you. Okay, and then for Cancer and for Cancer rising. So for Cancers, this Mercury retrograde is happening in your fourth house, which is the house of home, family, property, and real estate. This is a time where you're going to be reevaluating a lot to do with your home, family, property, and real estate. You're going to be wanting to reset or reestablish some sort of balance or harmony or equilibrium in the home or with your family relationships. But it's going to require that you view things very truthfully, that you view yourself in respect to these things very truthfully. Is the reason that you're out of balance because you're creating that lack of balance because you're the one who's causing things to feel stuck? Is the reason that maybe you're having family issues because you yourself are the cause of it, or maybe you're contributing to it but you didn't realize, and it's kind of in your face right now. This is a time where, the truth will be revealed for Cancers in all relationships. The truth that's been there all along will come up, and it'll be like a slap in the face. Like, I didn't realize this person was that way, or I didn't realize I was being this way to that person. This Mercury Kazimi, and ultimately, again, this is a good thing. There's something also, in the foundations of your home, family, property, all of that, that could reveal something to you that was there, but it also like provides some sort of financial value into the future. And so it's kind of, I'm not exactly sure how to explain this because it could show up in a lot of different ways, but it's a little, I would have to look specifically at everyone's chart for that one, but it's almost as if there's like something going on in the foundation of your home or in your home in general, and you didn't realize what the problem was, and it shows up and it's like, oh my gosh, I fixed this, and maybe it adds value to your home, or it does something along those lines. And also with the relationships, especially family relationships or intimate relationships like in marriage, again, something is revealed to you, but it makes it so the exchange of power, the balance in that realm is much more positive moving forward. The Mercury Kazimi on October 9th could reveal something to you very quickly through an intense communication, through an exchange of words, through an argument or a dispute with your family, or over some sort of contract or agreement with your home or something like that. But the end result again is like, I know I need to take quick action, decisive action. And if it's with your home or like a property negotiation or something like that, it's going to save you money or bring you more money. So that's what's going on for Cancer. So for Leo and for Leo rising, this Mercury retrograde is happening in your third house, which is the house of short distance travel, vehicles. Definitely make sure that you do your vehicle maintenance sooner than later now, because it's like happening in a couple of days, that type of thing. So for the most part for Leos, this will be a positive energy, especially in relationships. This is going to really enhance your communication in relationships. During this Mercury retrograde, you're not going to want to have surface level conversations with anyone. You're going to want deep truths. You're going to want to exchange information that is revelatory, that is deeply revealing about you and about the people that you're speaking with, right? This is really good, again, for those deep one-on-one connections with people. However, some of the things that are revealed to you about yourself and about others, it's not going to feel comfortable necessarily, and so that's where the diciness comes in. But ultimately, these things need to come out. It's kind of like an airing of grievances or something that needs to get off your chest or somebody else's chest, and once it's out, it's like, how did I not know this? And then you can kind of move on and rebuild and grow the relationship from there. When it comes to more mundane things like vehicles, I mean, this is a time where something could be revealed to you about a vehicle, right? About, maybe there's something wrong with your car and it comes up really quickly. It could come up during that Mercury Kazimi. In fact, I would say that during that Mercury Kazimi, maybe don't be driving necessarily, but, if there's something wrong with a vehicle, you could test it out, check it. If you're going to be traveling during this period, it's going to be quite intense, but you can lean on your friends, your partner, people who you're really close to help see you through whatever it is that is revealed to you or comes up during this travel period. And yeah, I would also say that there could be a communication that comes in that reveals something to you that's been hidden in plain sight when it comes to your relationship with your coworkers. If you're somebody who's working or who works in an office setting or something like that, it could be revealing something to you about your work and what you're truly and deeply passionate about and what you really desire there. It could be revealing something to you about your health, like a message or information that you take in. And it's kind of like, oh my gosh, how did I not see this? I need to take action on this. I need to change it. And that's what's going on for Leos. Okay. And so for Virgo and for Virgo rising. So for Virgos, this energy is happening in your second house with the Mercury retrograde. This is going to be a really great time for you to rethink your financial situation. So rebalance your budget. Definitely check and recheck every single receipt, every single transaction. I would not say that this is the best time to make major purchases unless maybe they're work related and it's something that's coming back around. Otherwise, it's going to potentially cause some problems. If you absolutely have to buy something expensive or important, I would do it very quickly at the time of the Mercury Kazimi, unless it's mechanical specifically, and that could work out a little bit better. But this is a time where something about your relationship to your money, something about the way that you create resources, something about the way that you use or save or invest your resources will be revealed to you during this Mercury retrograde. And it's not going to feel nice. It's going to be like, why did I do this? Or why was this happening? Or maybe you even find out that somebody was taking advantage of you. If that's the case, it's okay. This is for a reason, and this is going to help you definitely moving forward. This could be for some people that, if you're a business owner or something like that, or even if you're just somebody who, hires a CPA to do your taxes, it could be that they were not necessarily doing their job as diligently as they wanted, or that you wanted them to, or something along those lines. And you have to make a change, and that's going to benefit you ultimately financially and in your business moving forward. So that's okay. If it happens, but it is a thing. There could also just be an unexpected expense from the past that maybe you forgot about, or that you kind of didn't take action on when you needed to, that comes back around, and you absolutely need to take action on it now, especially around October 9th when Mercury and Mars are in that conjunction and we have that Mercury Kazimi. But yeah, so that's what's going on for Virgo. There could be something also around food, I would say, that could improve your health, that could be revealed to you. Like maybe you're like, do one of those food sensitivity tests or something like that, and something's revealed to you, like, I've been eating this all day, every day, and I can't believe this is what I was sensitive to and what's been causing all of these issues all along. Like, duh, right? And that could be part of it too. Something as simple and mundane as that, and that could provide greater health, and it could improve your body moving forward. Okay, so for Libra and for Libra rising, Mercury retrograde is happening in your sign. Every time Mercury retrograde happens in your sign, that's usually a time where you are the cause of your own problems, your own Mercury retrograde problems, right? So when there's miscommunications, when there are delays, when the timing is off, when you miss appointments, or things get rescheduled, or technology breaks, or whatever it is that happens for you during the Mercury retrograde to kind of make you take a step back and reevaluate, usually it's because you did it. Either you did it during the Mercury retrograde or you did it before the Mercury retrograde, and it's coming back to kind of bite you during that time. So you need to check, recheck, think, rethink, overthink everything that you say, do, especially when it comes to like communication and written communication and things like that. Because there could be some like intensity. I would say there's a lot more potential for arguments, disputes, disagreements, things to be revealed about you that you don't necessarily like about yourself through your interactions with other people and through the things that you say, where maybe you have to put your foot in your mouth, right? So think about that and take your time. You're going to be like, Mars is in your sign too. So you're going to be feeling intense. You're going to be feeling like you want to push people away. You're going to feel like you want to like push forward with things. You might step on other people's toes without even realizing it. And this is not a normal like Libra energy, right? And so you're not used to feeling this way necessarily. And so it could be difficult to handle. So take a breath. take a step back. This is also a time where Libra people might be feeling more anxious, because you just have Mercury, Mars in your first house with the sun there. I mean, this is just a signature for generalized like restlessness, nervousness, and anxiety. And so you might be feeling more amped up. But again, that will pass. It's just because of the Mercury retrograde energy, it'll lighten up. But that all being said, whatever it is that comes up that you reveal about yourself through your actions, through your communications, through your introspection, because this is a time where you should be reevaluating yourself in a lot of ways. This is ultimately going to help you to connect with and grow the things that bring you joy, the things that you're passionate about, the things that you love to do because you love to do them because they are connected to your heart. And that is the blessing and the benefit of this energy. Maybe you're blocking yourself from experiencing joy. Maybe you're blocking yourself from having those romances that you want. Maybe you're blocking yourself from connecting with your children in the way that you want to. And you didn't realize, and now it's being revealed to you, and that's going to be a gift and a blessing moving forward. So, understand that whatever is going on, it's for a reason, and that the intensity will definitely pass, and you'll be left with an openness and an expansive energy in the end of this as a result. Okay. And then for Scorpio rising. All right. So for Scorpios, a little bit less intense in some ways, but also not. There's a lot of stuff that's hidden behind the scenes that is going to be revealed to you. There are secrets that might come out. There are people that might be working against you. There are people that might be working for you behind the scenes that might come out. But it's like all of the people that maybe spread rumors or think badly of you or have, something to say, it might be a time when they actually come out and say it, right? The 12th house is the house of hidden enemies. We have Mars there. We have Mercury there. We have this really intense T-square going on here. I would say that words will be exchanged and things will be revealed. And you might not even know who the culprit is at first, but just the fact that this is happening without your knowledge, whatever it is that comes up for you, and it could be a work-related thing with your coworkers or your employees or something like that, just the fact that this is happening behind the scenes without your knowledge, that's going to be like a shocking revelation in and of itself, and something that you're going to have to deal with. But ultimately, the end result of whatever this is that comes up, whatever hidden information, secrets that are revealed to you during this time, will be positive. It'll help to grow your sense of sort of rootedness, right? It's Jupiter in your fourth house. It'll help you to have a much better, much more optimistic perspective behind the scenes, but it'll also improve your, like your home life and your comfort zone and like what's going on behind the scenes. Like it'll make your day-to-day life behind closed doors much easier, much better, and much more expansive now that everything's out in the open, right? And you see it. Also, your reaction to such things might be a revelation to you too. And so you might feel like, all right, now I'm really paranoid or I'm really suspicious and I reacted in this way and I yelled at this person or whatever. And I don't like that, right? I don't like that I did that. I don't like that this is who I am apparently, and I didn't even realize. So something else to just kind of take into consideration there. And again, that can improve a lot of different things about your life. But so this is kind of what's going on here. So that Mercury Kazimi, as I mentioned before, that's happening on October 9th in a conjunction with Mars, that's where something might be revealed to you through like a meditation or through introspection or through just rest and reprieve really suddenly and really rapidly. It's like, where did that come from, right? But it's going to be something that you have to take action on. And it's going to be something that, again, ultimately has a positive result, especially when it comes to your inner peace and your well-being behind the scenes. All right, for Sagittarius and Sagittarius rising, this is a little bit nicer, I would say, for Sagittarius. Ultimately, the end result of this energy is much more positive connections in your friendships, in your one-on-one partnerships, your marriage, your romantic relationships, and with your community. This is a good time to revisit old community connections, connections with your neighbors, with people that you surround yourself with in your actual environment. This is also a time where old friendships can come back around because there's something that needs to be revealed revealed to you about those connections. And so it could be someone that you haven't spoken to in many years that calls you or texts you or messages you out of the blue or shows up at your door even. And, it could be shocking, and they could have something to say that's like, really, I didn't realize that this happened all these years ago. And that actually makes way more sense, to the situation that occurred. And I can't believe I didn't see that, right? How did I not see that? That's going to be, a part of this energy for a lot of Sagittarius people. It could also be that, some people just need to come back into your life during this time, or they need to come back into your life so something can be revealed to you through that conversation, that communication, that connection, or through your own inner understanding of something. So, I mean, it's not necessarily a bad thing. There could be some tension for sure. But, ultimately this is looking a lot nicer for Sagittarius than a lot of the other signs in this, nice little energy. If you are Sagittarius, sun, moon, or rising anywhere from 10 to 25 degrees, this is a great time where a lot's going to be revealed to you about your partnerships, and your partnerships will improve and expand and become much better and much more beautiful, much more open, much more truthful, much more adventurous as a result of this energy. All right. For Capricorn and Capricorn rising. So for Capricorn, this Mercury retrograde is happening in your 10th house, which is the house of career and public reputation. Something might be revealed to you through communication with a coworker or with a boss, or through your own just kind of like ruminating. This is a good time to think and rethink and sort of, go back and redo, revise, revisit old work plans, old work connections, old work projects that maybe didn't get completed, or that you can reuse and put back out there, right? That's something too. I love to do that when Mercury's retrograding in my 10th or my 6th, to like repurpose old content and things like that, or bring it back around and revitalize it and then put it out there. This could be a time to do something like that. But this is also a time where something that happened in the past involving your career, involving your public standing, right? Your public image, something involving you as a leader, something involving your legacy that you leave behind after your working years that you didn't realize. It could be that it comes back up and it's like, how did I not see this, right? It could be something about you and the way that other people view you. That could be a big one for Capricorns, especially if you're Capricorn, sun, moon, or rising, anywhere from 10 to 25 degrees. Like this could be a time where you didn't realize people saw you that way. And it could be like not very pretty, and it might not feel good, but it's like after all is said and done, you're glad. And especially if it's related to your work, understanding this and realizing it and shifting it, and changing your perspective about it, that's actually going to bring in more money for you in the future. So it's going to enhance your earning potential. So not necessarily a bad thing. It's just kind of like a hard lesson, like, I didn't know I was being like that. Also, that Mercury Kazimi, that's going to be happening on October 9th with Mars in the sign of Libra. Something could be revealed to you that you have to kind of take action on. It's something that comes up from the past that you suddenly realize and that you have to take action on very quickly. And that could be a big thing for you, especially in relationship to your career, your public image, things of that nature. But it could really impact all areas of your life, because it's in one of the angular houses. So it could be something about relationships, your home life, you personally, where all of a sudden you're like, wow, it's go time. I didn't realize it, but it is. So that's what's going on for Capricorn. For Aquarius and Aquarius rising, this energy is happening in your 11th house, which is the house, your 9th house, which is the house of your beliefs about God, the universe, the world around you. This is a major perspective change. There's something about your beliefs, that your deeply held value systems, that is going to be revealed to you that might not be pretty. You might not feel good about it. You might be like, wow, how did I believe that was true? How was that a core value that I had? And now I'm realizing that that's not so good, right? Maybe that isn't a value that I should have been holding on to for so long. It could also be that something's revealed to you about or through an educational program that you didn't realize before. It could even be something so simple and so mundane, especially because this isn't such a nice alignment with your sun, moon, or rising sign. It could be something as simple and positive and mundane as like you go back and revisit old coursework, which is a good thing to do during Mercury retrograde in your ninth house in general. And something is revealed to you, like a piece to the puzzle that you didn't grasp before. And all of a sudden you grasp it and it's like, how did I not see that? That was there the whole time and it didn't click and I could have been using this and I didn't use it and oh my goodness, right? That kind of thing. Ultimately, this is going to be beneficial to you because it's going to change who you are and the way you show up out in the world. It could actually provide opportunities to you that weren't available prior. It could even be that something's revealed to you about a connection in a foreign country, travel plans, something of that nature. There could be a moment where you feel like you have to speak up about something and around October 9th, especially while Mercury's Kazimi and conjunct Mars on that day, where it's like all of a sudden it clicks and you feel like you have to say something. You have to share it with the world. You have to put that information out there. You have to teach people about this. And it comes up really quickly and it's something that is coming up from the past or that you need to learn about it, right? That could be the other thing. Like, I need to learn this. I didn't realize it, but I need to go back to school and study this. And that could come up for you too. Again, end result's positive. It's a more positive energy for Aquarius than most of the other signs, even if it feels a little uncomfortable in the moment, but mostly it's going to be good. So that's what's going on there. Okay. And for Pisces, last but never ever least, this energy is happening in your 8th house. Mercury retrograde in the 8th house is a time for deep introspection. It's a time where you're probably going to want to pull away from the world and your thoughts are going to become much more intense, much more, I don't want to call it like surly. It's kind of a good word for it though. But your thoughts are going to get a little, I don't want to say darker because it's not darker. It's just that there's a lot of intensity. You're thinking about things in a deeper way. And because you're thinking about things in a deeper way, because you're poring over the past and the things that have happened and why things are the way that they are, something will be revealed to you through that process. And so this is a good time to go back and revisit old fears, old anxieties, old traumas, old issues, so that way you can actually heal them once and for all. But the healing is going to come through a revelation, and that revelation might feel deeply uncomfortable. This is a lot of behind the scenes inner work for Pisces on all levels, but this is going to benefit you in a lot of ways, more so internally than externally. However, on an external sort of level, on a more mundane level, this is actually going to be impacting your finances. And so it could be that something comes back around. I've many times have had Mercury retrogrades in my 8th house when bills from like 3 years ago that I forgot about, all of a sudden I get this is collections from this payment for $25 that you forgot about 3 years ago or something like that, like that. Not so much anymore, but that used to happen to me in my 20s when I was a little less responsible. So, it could happen. Not to say that you're irresponsible if that happens. People forget things. But basically, moral of the story is there could be some sort of financial obligation through a debt or through joint finances or through other people's money that you forgot about that comes back around and you have to address it in some way. And that might feel uncomfortable. That might feel scary to you. And it's like, how did I forget about this? Or how did I not see this coming? It could even be that you didn't pay your taxes and all of a sudden the IRS is after you or something like that on a, more extreme level. And it's like, crap, like I should have known this. It's in my face, but I just didn't think that this was a possibility, and now it's happening. It could also be that your relationship with finances or power issues and power struggles around finances are revealed to you, and you have to address it and have to deal with it, but this is going to bring you much more inner peace to deal with any financial issues that come up. Also, if you're struggling with financial issues, especially in relationship to debt, joint finances, taxes, inheritance, insurance, investments, anything to do with money that involves other people, this is a time during that Mercury Kazimi on October 9th where you will find a quick solution, right? It's like it will be revealed to you. It was there all along, but it has to be a solution to an old problem, right? Not a new one. And so that's a time to kind of think about it because something will come to you very quickly or a message will come to you that will help you to resolve these issues. And so that is my forecast for all 12 signs. And Yeah, so just a couple of kind of things that I always want to let people know about the Mercury retrograde. Mercury retrogrades in and of themselves are nothing to be scared of. While it's still the weekend, if you're watching this when it first comes out, make sure that you just back up your work, double, triple, quadruple check everything. This is a good time for revisiting old projects or repurposing old things as opposed to initiating new ones. Unless you are a Mercury retrograde person, I have found with having a lot of Mercury retrograde friends and also working with a lot of Mercury retrograde clients, that things tend to work out better for people who were born during the Mercury retrogrades, that they often tell you, like astrologers often tell you not to do. So like signing contracts or giving speeches or writing or whatever, all those Mercury ruled communication things. And so keep that in mind. However, this is a more harsh Mercury retrograde. It's a little bizarre. There's going to be some more intensity here. And so even if you're a Mercury retrograde person, this one might not feel great. It might not be as beneficial when it comes to revisiting and doing those things, or not necessarily revisiting, but just doing those things first and foremost, initiating stuff, right? But, in general, that's not necessarily a thing. And if you are somebody who has to do something and you're worried about it, get a Mercury retrograde person to help you. That's a little hack there. I have a Mercury retrograde assistant, so I always give her extra little things to do during the Mercury retrograde because it tends to work out for her when it's not working out for me. If something's not working out for me, I'll see if I can pass it along to her or to somebody else I know instead. And that is kind of like a weird little thing that you can do that seems to work a lot of the time if you have people on board who are willing to help you out at least. Maybe, if you're somebody who owns a business, hire at least someone who has a Mercury retrograde in their chart so you have them to lean on during these periods. But yeah, I do have a free Mercury retrograde survival guide. It's down in the description below. It's just a blog post that I wrote a couple of years ago that still holds true. All my best tips and hacks for that. And so, yeah, you can find that. And thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed this video, please like it, subscribe to my channel, and make sure you share this with anybody who can benefit from this Mercury retrograde information. And I will see you in the next one. Bye, everyone.